Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you are watching this. Welcome back. This is just more examples for the first lesson that's already posted for this Algebra 1 course. I'll do a few more of those examples just to give you an idea of how we go about solving these expressions. Hopefully they can help. Let's get started. Let's see, let's pick a color here. You know what, let's just go with, I don't know, yellow? Maybe yellow. You know what, let's do blue. 15x when x equals 4. Again, we're just evaluating the expression. The word evaluate just means solve. So 15x means 15 times x. X is 4. So 15 times 4, that is 60. 0.4r, again 0.4 times r, and r is 6, so 0.4 times 6. Again, when you're multiplying decimals, it's very simple. If you just focus on 4 times 6, we know that's 24, and that's just one decimal place, so 2.4. W minus 8, and W is 20, so it's 20 minus 8, which is 12. 1.6 minus M is 1.2, so it's just 1.6 minus 1.2, which is 0.4. Again, if you just line up the decimals, and just subtract, here you get 4, you get 0.4. 5 plus M. 5 plus M. M is equal to 7. 5 plus 7, which is 12. 24 over F. Again, this right here just means division, so it's 24 divided by F, and F is 8. 24 divided by 8 we know is 3. 4.5, well, you have T over 5, and that's just the same again, T divided by 5. T is 4.5, so 4.5 divided by 5. Again, that's just the same thing. If you were just to do 45 divided by 5, I know that is 9. And again, one decimal place, so you get 0.9. All right, 2.5 times M, and M is 4, so 2.5 times 4. Well, we know, again, if we would just remove the decimal, 25 times 4, that's 100. One decimal place, so 10.0, or just 10. 1/2 K, that's the same as saying 1/2 times K, and K is 2.3, so 1/2 times 2 over 3. Sorry, not 2.3, 2 over 3, 2/3. Don't know why I said 2.3. Again, when we multiply fractions, top by top, bottom by bottom, 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. So 2/6. And again, if you can simplify this, of course, right? Top and bottom, you can divide by 2, so you end up with 1/3. Moving on. Again, if you want to practice on your own, you can pause the video, finish these, and then check your work with me after you've completed them. Again, if I'm going too fast, let me know. I'll try to slow down next time. But again, I'm just really plugging in the variables, and then just it's simple computation after that. All right, y minus 1/2. Y is 5/6. So 5/6 minus 1/2. Again, we cannot subtract fractions unless you have a common denominator. Since our denominator is 6 here and this is 2, we can do 2 times 3 to get to 6. So our common denominator here is 6. So 5/6 stays the same. We can multiply the 1/2, both top and bottom of that fraction, by 3. So you get 3 over 6. And then 5/6 minus 3/6, and you're just subtracting the top here, the numerators, you get 2 over 6, which again, just like the previous question, if we simplify it, we get 1/3. All right, h plus 1/3. H is 1 and 1/3, so 1 and 1/3 plus 1/3. Anytime you're adding or subtracting mixed numbers, again, always make sure your fractions, or the fraction part of the mixed number, do have a common denominator, which we do here, both of which are have a 3 in the denominator. So whenever, again, you're adding or subtracting the mixed numbers, make sure you add or subtract the fraction portion first, then after that you can add or subtract the whole number portion of the mixed number. So 1/3 plus 1/3, that is 2/3. Here we have a 1 whole, and here we have nothing, right? So 1 plus 0 is just 1, so 1 and 2/3. All right, We also talked about power in the first lesson of Algebra 1. Power just exponents. 3 to the power of 2 just means 3 times 3. That's a multiplication. 3 times 3 is 9. 10 to the power of 2, just 10 times 10, which is 100. 1 to the power of 5, again, is just 1. See, I'm making that mistake. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. 11 to the power of 3. 11 times 11 times 11. Again, 11 times 11 is 121. 121 times 11 is 1,331. 1,331. 5 to the power of 3 is 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5, 125. Again, anytime you multiply by 25, think of quarters, right? 5 quarters is $1.25, 125. I think that's kind of an easy way of looking at it. 3 to the power of 5, that's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. And 81 times 3 is 243. 243. 2 to the power of 6. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And 32 times 2, 64. All right. Take a deep breath. 6 to the power of 4. 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. Ooh, that's about it. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is 216. And 216 times 6, 1,296. 1,296. All right. 1/4 to the power of 2, 1/4 squared. 1/4 times 1/4. Again, when we multiply fractions, just top by top, bottom by bottom. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is 16. So 1/16. All right. 2/3 to the power of 4 is 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. Again, this is the same as just, another way you could look at it is 2 to the 4th over 3 to the 4th. Okay, so you can multiply the top, the 2, to itself 4 times. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. All right. Evaluate the expression. X squared, when x is 3/4. All you have to do is substitute your 3/4 for x, so it becomes 3/4 squared. And again, that's just the same as squaring both 3 and 4, right? 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, so 9 over 16. P squared, that's 1.1 squared. Again, think of 1.1 as 11. We know 11 squared, or 11 times 11, is 121. Now, since you're multiplying 1.1 to itself, you have one decimal place in 1.1 and then another decimal place in the other 1.1. So 2 decimal places gives you 1.21. X plus y. When x is 11 and y is 6.4. So, again, substitute 11 for x and 6.4 for y. All right. Again, when you're subtracting decimals, make sure. So 11 doesn't have a decimal, so we'll write it as 11.0, but 6.4 does. And this is why you add a decimal to 11 when you're subtracting it, because you need to line up the decimals whenever you add or subtract decimals. So here we have 10, here we have a 0. 10 minus 4 is 6, and this number 10, that makes it 10, and 10 minus 6 is 4. So 4.6. All right. Kn, that means k times n, when k is 9 and n is 4.5. So 9 times 4.5. Okay, again, you can think of it as 9 times 45, which is 405. And again, if you want me to just show you a little step-by-step real quick, 9 times 5 is 45. And 9 times 4 is 36, plus 4 is 40. And then you have the 1 decimal place, right? So 40.5. Okay. W minus Z. W is 9.5 minus Z, which is equal to 2.8. And again, just like before, when you subtract or add decimals, line them up. See how the decimals are lined up here? Subtract, well, 5 minus 8, we cannot do that. That's 15. The 9 becomes 8 when we borrow. 15 minus 8 is, sorry, I'm thinking of something else, 7. Drop the decimal, and 8 minus 2 is 6. 6.7. Ooh. I don't know if I'm getting a cold here or not, but let's continue. B over C, that means B divided by C. B is 24 over C, which is 25. Again, 24 divided by 25. That, again, gives you 9.6. Okay? Because, again, you're dividing by 2.5 and not necessarily 25. Again, 24 divided by 25 is 96. Or, again, if you think of, you get 24 questions out of 25 right on an exam. Each point on an exam out of 25 questions is worth 4 points. So if you get 24 of them correct, you have 96%. But again, since it's divided by 2.5, you have to add or move that the decimal one place over, so you have 9.6 in this case. All right. Hopefully this was beneficial. Guys, again, subscribe for more of these videos. I began with Algebra. I will be teaching geometry, algebra 2, calculus, so there'll be more, or there'll be those videos up as well, hopefully sooner rather than later. Lesson 2 of Algebra should be up pretty soon as well, and I'll do examples of that lesson as well in a different video. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a good one.